Welcome everyone, you can be seated. How's everyone doing today? Thumbs up? Good? Thumbs sideways? Thumbs down? I don't know, just checking in. Okay, so I prepared a few words for you today, and so I hope that you can give your attention and openness to what I have to say. So good morning everyone. As we gather for our first chapel of the year, I want to acknowledge that chapel holds a special place in the life of Queen Margaret School. As many of you already know, this building carries the weight of tradition, history, and memory. It has been for generations of students a place of faith, of reflection, of community, and of meaning. When I began preparing for my new role at QMS, I felt a very strong connection to the responsibilities of the role. Yet one part of the role was making me a little nervous, taking on the responsibility of chapel gatherings. For the past 5 years, Mr. Monroe guided this community with thoughtfulness and care, and I know how deeply appreciated that was. My challenge is to honor the work that has been done so well, and to think about how I can enter into leading these gatherings in a way that is comfortable for me and ensuring the programming continues to grow and evolve. Part of this challenge for me is personal. I am Jewish, and stepping into a space with deep Christian roots invited me to ask, how do I understand my role here? That question became even more real when I brought my 19-year-old daughter into this chapel for the first time. She looked around, saw me standing at the podium with the crosses behind me as I was talking to her about how special I believe this place is. And while I was talking, she asked, Mom, are you sure you're okay with this, with leading this? Her question stayed with me, and I realized, yes, I am okay, more than okay. I feel honored to be here and to take on this responsibility. But her reaction also made me wonder, if she who knows me so well could feel uncertain about how I fit in this place, how might some of our students of different backgrounds feel when they walk in here? And so began my thinking about what I can do to address this question. My role is not only to carry forward the traditions that give chapel its strength, it is also to help ensure that this remains a place of belonging for everyone, no matter your faith, your culture, or your story. Here is one way I would like to add to the experiences in this chapel. I invite you as members of the community to share something of yourselves. It might be a part of your faith, your culture, your passions, or a value that matters to you. And when you share, you will also have the chance to leave something behind here, something that represents you, so that when we gather in chapel, we don't just see history, we also see the living community of QMS reflected back at us. Belonging is about being seen, understood, and knowing that you matter. My hope is that this chapel continues to be a place where we listen, where we share, and where everyone feels they belong. Before Mr. Monroe comes up to say a few words, I'd like us to pause together for a short moment. Sometimes in our busy lives, silence can feel uncomfortable, but it can also be powerful. Chapel gives us a chance to slow down, to think, and to simply be. So I invite you into about 30 seconds of quiet to think about this question. If you were to come up and share something about yourself and leave something in the space that represents you, your story, your values, or what matters most to you, what might that be? Today, I'm going to leave behind a mezuzah. So how many of you know what a mezuzah is? Just raise your hand if you know what this is. Anybody? Yeah, just a few people. It's got a little scroll in the back as well. Okay, and I'm going to explain what it is. It's a small case that holds a Jewish prayer called the Shema. In homes, it is placed on doorposts as a reminder to reflect on our values, to be mindful of how we live, and to honor the traditions that shape us. By leaving it here in chapel, I hope it can be a symbol for all of us that everyone's story and tradition has a place in this community, that no matter your faith, culture, or background, you belong here. I would now like to call up Mr. Monroe.
Thank you, Mrs. Powell. So when people stand up here and share something about themselves, whether it's an experience or whether it's something that they've worked through, it really gives you a meaningful insight into who they are and what they value, and perhaps a part of where they've come from. And that's just one way that we build community. And so I really hope that some of you can think about what you might share. If you wanted to, please have a chat with Miss Powell. She's going to continue evolving this concept that are the chapel gatherings. And because of her background and because of her lens and perspective, that's going to help strengthen it and help it grow into something that's really meaningful for this community. I have a lot of confidence in that. She wants to empower you and your voices to come forward and to contribute so that we can do this collaboratively as a community. On another occasion, maybe we'll have a look at some of the historical features of the chapel, because what they actually do, rather than being necessarily religious symbols, they're actually symbols of character and symbols of values and expressions that are actually common to us all, irrespective of whatever our faith backgrounds might be. So one of the hallmarks that I hope to leave on the chapel gathering experience, which, as you know, kicked off the day at 8:30, which for some was a little earlier than you might like to have come on in and sort of opened your ears and opened your minds to certain concepts. But the idea is to build community through shared experiences, to maybe expose yourself to considering some topics that aren't covered by the BC curriculum, that help us develop our perspective and even our sense of self. You know, what do I think about that? What's my opinion on that? And how can I go away and have some conversations? How can I reflect on it? Part of the experience, though, as well, rather than it just being presentations and voices, is also this idea of music. And I think if I asked for a show of hands, how many of you enjoy listening to music, I think there'd be a lot of hands that go up. It's so emotive. You can connect so powerfully to whether it's the lyrics or it's just the rhythm or the melody, whatever it is, and it can be inspiring and it makes you feel. And so the idea was to try and create something that was just different. It's different from what you would typically get during your school day. And it's hard to even know what that value would be. You might not even know what the value of these sorts of experiences are for another 5 years or another 10 years in your life, and that's okay. And that's all right. I think what Mrs. Powell's hoping for and what I would implore you to do is just to try and be open to the experiences. Even if there's one thing that you take away, just one thing, then I think that will be really valuable. Something that I have built a fondness for over the years, and I was actually ashamed. It's one of my regrets is that I didn't keep it going at school. Was singing, and actually trying to develop my voice and trying to sing as a group. And it's amazing how some of you just shifting a little uncomfortably on the benches when I mentioned singing, because obviously we're gonna move into that territory and into that realm in a moment. But when we sing together, it unites us. Like there's no way of getting past that. Like when we sing together collectively, and whatever those lyrics are to whatever tune, for me, it makes me feel part of a community. It makes me feel a collective pride, and I think when we engage in it wholeheartedly, we can hopefully that can be those could be a sort of shared values, and it can develop. I think it can develop pride, like in ourselves, and not just in the school or in your house or whatever it is. So the school song is number 2, and I think what I'd ask is, let's send the hymnals down, please, the rows, and if you could just turn to number 2, and I'm going to just have a look at a few of the lyrics and the stanzas before we give it a shot. I understand that some of you, many of you maybe, aura's a thing, and you want to try and you want to maintain aura. And I get that. I totally get that. And you might think if I miss the note, if I don't hit the note, I'm losing and but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. You won't. Where I think for me the loss in that area comes is if we're not putting enough into it. All right? Because when you're putting a lot into it, that demonstrates courage. Okay? That demonstrates courage, by the way, is not the absence of fear. No. In order to be courageous, you need the presence of fear. And it's your ability to overcome that makes you courageous and brave. So, let's have a quick look, because I'm a firm believer that if we're going to enter into the spirit of things, it's helpful sometimes to understand, okay, what is there anything significant about these words that are in front of us? So if you look here into the first verse, okay, as you look at that first verse, what I'm hoping that you'll draw out of that is that what it's trying to do, it's trying to call us to recognize that we each have a collective responsibility, okay, as part of this school community. There have been many, many years of history at this school that have gone before us, right from when Denny and Gagan kicked things off. Swimming pools have been dug, chapels have been built, okay, buildings have been put up, through blood, sweat and tears of people and service over the years. And we happen to be here now. Okay, so this sense of responsibility, we who now these halls are treading, bear aloft the lamp of fame. Hold it high above our fellows passing, bid them to do the same. Okay, so it invites you individually to take on that responsibility and collectively as well. The second verse, midway down, with the sword we fight our battles. I challenge any of you. It's just an undeniable fact. We are going to face struggle, sometimes on a daily basis, of varying degrees of significance in our lives. Might be weekly. You might have something really significant during the year. And everyone's going to go through that. Nobody can avoid that. And so, how do we face that? We strive. We look to support each other. We have to sometimes reach really deep within. Till our lives of struggle ended, we the crown of gold may win. It's also a result, though, when we endure pain, when we endure struggle, and we persevere and we find our way through it. You build something, you develop values and qualities that strengthen you in your future. Okay, so it's like calluses on your hands. It's like scar tissue when your body heals. Okay, so this is what this song is trying to say, as well as perseverance, resilience through challenges. Those are the things that will help you become successful in areas that you care about and that you want to pursue in your future. Verse 3 looks at the colors of the houses and what the houses represent. So Denny and Gagan thought very carefully about the houses and these qualities. So green for service, like that dedication of time in the pursuit of helping others or trying to create conditions that are better for others. Okay, and that being a really core value of the school. Red to stand for this concept of courage, which I've already spoken about for Mike's. And Gabe's, you have the narrow thread of gold. Now, the narrow thread of gold, I think that the language is really from yesteryear, which spoke to a sort of this sort of purity in the way you would approach something. And I think what it means is your attitude, like an honest attitude in pursuing your achievements. And I'm looking at almost sort of a queen of Gabe's. In this lyric there, you see her with a cape on house days, really gets into the spirit of things. Who's nodding away. And I think that's really what that's trying to get at. But I mean, these are great messages for life. These are great things that on a day-to-day basis, you are subconsciously or consciously drawing on. And finally, it's this concept of a chain. Like if you look at the school crest, that sort of oval-shaped crest, and you look at the chain and the links, those are the links of QMS. And when you put links together, you get connection. And it's trying to say, as we forge our endless chain, okay, the chain, the links that are, is a connection through people, through time, and through purpose as well, all right, through identity and who we are. Like, we are QMS, and we have so many things and attributes to be proud of and to get excited about. So as we sing the school song, they're not just words on a piece of paper, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, like, these are words that represent something that should be and can be. You have to make the meaning of it yourselves. Should be things that are significant and meaningful to you, and that represent important things for life. Excellent. By show of hands, please keep your hands down if you're looking forward to singing and getting involved in singing here. Brilliant. That's the whole room. I love that. Absolutely love that. One hand went up at the back, but otherwise we're all in. And that's fantastic. Sadie Wood is on the ivory, and she can play exceptional tunes. We probably will hear a performance at some stage from Sadie, but she's gonna play the school song. Some of you will be familiar with it, by Franz Hayden. The German national anthem follows this melody. So Sadie's going to play through one verse, then we're going to sing the first verse and pause, and then we'll decide which verse we're going to sing after that. But as we go through that the first verse, put your all into it. Okay, I know some of you haven't sung this before, and that's all right, but try and find our voices. Unite us, we are stronger together. The last piece for me is that hopefully, you will, through your experiences at QMS, it will give you an education that will reach areas that a normal education can't reach. Okay, we want to try and create that value added for you as students. I believe strongly that developing your empathy, developing your compassion, those are essential components for humanity. All right, so I really feel that some of these experiences are going to help you develop in those areas. It's just not always easy to recognize how, or to maybe see that and feel it the whole time. So please be open-minded to these. The character that you develop is yours forever. Really looking forward to Mrs. Powell's leadership in this area. She's incredibly thoughtful, so reflective, and really wants to set this experience up so that it maximizes the benefits for you. I think as far as creating a sense of occasion goes, it's another opportunity to try and just expose you to a sort of a different environment and a different feel, as it were. Whenever I'm in an audience and my role in the audience is to listen to whoever might be presenting or whoever might be speaking at that time, I just try to give them that situation my full respect. And so whenever anyone comes up here to present, whether it's your peers, whether we have a guest speaker, I would just ask that you try and work on that discipline as well. That's an important piece of building that sense of occasion, because you will be attending events in your life. You'll be going to important celebrations or ceremonies for people, and that's an important skill to develop too. Thanks everyone. It's been a good start. Cheers.